You're listening to Leadership for Startups. Welcome to my podcast. My name is Toyoshin B, and in this first intro episode, I want to use this opportunity to explain the purpose of this podcast, who it's for, and why I would like you to subscribe. Some of you are listening to this because you know me, while some of you discovered this podcast in one way or another, and I want to thank you for tuning in. So who am I? As I said, my name is Toyoshin B. I'm based in London. This is where I was born, even though I've lived in Nigeria for a number of years. I'm married and I have two wonderful kids who I am sure will feature in some of the stories I'll be sharing in later episodes. My background in my working career is that over the last 23 years, I've had experience in various roles. I've been a sales consultant many years ago. I've ran my own company as an entrepreneur. More recently, I have worked as a learning and development professional, which is really understanding how people operate and how we learn. Also as a leadership consultant and a leader in a not-for-profit and as a coach. And I have trained thousands of leaders in my profession. I've coached them as well. And I'm passionate about entrepreneurship, leadership, and I love reading non-fictional books, such as books on leadership, business, marketing, personal development, etc. And over the years, I get asked constantly, when I'm talking to people normally, it's a kind of like a regular thing for people to come to me and say, Toy, I'm struggling with this. And maybe in my conversations with people, I'm known to recommend books. It's almost like a habit because I just read. I just love reading. And I think one of the things that people tell me is that I'm able to then condense it into actionable steps. So this sort of is the reason that came about this podcast. So this show is dedicated to helping startup entrepreneurs discover the best leadership, wisdom, insights, and ideas. We plan to interview best-selling authors, successful entrepreneurs, share stories, and turn knowledge from the best leadership, business, personal development books, and extract essential actionable steps for you to apply and get results. Overall, our mission is to help entrepreneurs and leaders build businesses that grow and flourish. So why am I doing this podcast? Why startups? Why entrepreneurs? And why leadership? Well, in 2014, Jim Clifford, the CEO of Gallup, wrote a book. Oh, and there comes my first recommendation. The book is titled Entrepreneurial Strengths Finder. He wrote the book with Sangeeta Bharadwaj-Badal. And based on their research, they uncovered something fascinating that many of us perhaps aren't aware of. They reveal in the book that many think that innovation is the solution to the economic problems of a country. But what a country actually needs are more entrepreneurs. Why, you might say? Because entrepreneurs create customers, and customers in turn create jobs and economic growth. And this is what the book reveals. And so they go about really talking about how a country should encourage more entrepreneurship, but not solopreneurs, but entrepreneurs that want to build business and hire staff in order to be able to get the economy going. Now, in London, over the last number of years, we've had a serious issue with knife crime. And guess what? Why are these teenagers involved in these stabbings? Well, research is showing that many of them just can't get jobs. Now, I'm sure that there are many other reasons, but this is definitely one of the challenges that we are facing here in London and in the United Kingdom, which is that there are not as many businesses, new businesses starting up. And so it actually takes entrepreneurs to generate this that are going to hire staff, create more jobs. So, how can entrepreneurs change the world? Well, if they build successful companies, then people have meaningful work, live peaceful, fulfilling lives, and the world ends up being a better place. And that could be you. Now, let me tell you a quick story of Arthur Guinness, the owner of Guinness, the beer brand. After running a reasonably successful business, he heard a message that part of his responsibility was to do good in the world. And so he set a legacy in Dublin for being a company that has improved the living standards of the people in Dublin and is still having an impact today. So if you're an entrepreneur, your idea can change humanity if it is contributing to doing good. So who is this podcast for? Well, this podcast is for entrepreneurs. The focus is to help startups, and you could be a startup in tech or in any industry. You could be a startup in a not-for-profit, because the focus that we want to pass on is a lot more around the leadership skills. And these leadership skills are the same because we are dealing with people. And we want to focus on those that are having challenges, building a team. And as my mentor, John Maxwell, always says, that everything rises and falls on leadership. And from my experience, at the startup stage, you're trying to get a proof of concept. Maybe you're looking for funding, or you're trying to generate revenue. And if you're planning to make this more than just a solopreneur gig, then you're going to need to hire staff. And that is where the leadership challenge starts. And that's what we want to help you with. So what about if you're just starting or you have the desire to be an entrepreneur? Well, please stay tuned, because the one constant challenge that you're most likely going to face is that you're going to have to always lead yourself. And that is where it always starts. Now, I can't say that I'm an expert in all of this. However, I am a learner, and we can learn this together. On this show, we plan to interview best-selling authors to give us some of the best wisdom, insights, practical tips that we can apply. I want to use my learning and development skills to extract some of the most practical, actionable aspects of some of these books so that you can turn the knowledge from these books into action, and you can focus on taking action and not just the reading, even though we will recommend that you be a lifetime learner because leaders are readers. We'll plan to interview exceptional entrepreneurs that have mastered the skills of leadership and also entrepreneurship. So if you like what you're hearing, please subscribe to my show, and I look forward to taking this journey with you. This is Toyoshi B on Leadership for Startups, signing off. Also, you can go to leadershipforstartups.com for more information. Thank you.